Morning, this is a follow-up video to the all-staff email that Sharon sent yesterday, which covers some of the emerging themes from yesterday's time that inspectors spent with in your classes, workshops, etc. This is a follow-up. I'll give you a few tips. First caveat is obviously we do not want to be doing anything brand new with students for our own sake, for their sake. It's not good, is it? We want to remain confident that what we do day to day is good. But I've got a few tips here of things that might help you. Things that we have said before, and we'd like you to carry through, is the examples of marked work. It's really, really important that they see more marked work. If you've got if they've got class files with their work in, or if you can just pick out some good examples and put it in their packs as you always have for observations, that would be great. In terms of the stretch and challenge, we know that's a theme. It's been the theme of our observation process. It's a massive, as I've said before, it's the key aspect to teaching and learning, full stop. And they are looking for it wherever they can find it, and wherever we can show them it. Brilliant. So remember that that's just in the paperwork side of things. You've got that box that says how are you going to support students to meet those outcomes, or how are you going to push them to go beyond. So you're thinking about what in the past might have been called differentiation. You're thinking about more individualized learning, and you're thinking about stretch. How can you stretch people? As I've said before, when you look at what you've written in there, is it really a stretch, or is it actually what you might expect and be quite normal? So make sure it's not just how it's written on there for the sake of someone reading it, but for you, in your mind, just have a think about, okay, so how is this difficult enough? Is it tough enough? Could they go beyond it? Your questions that you've scripted in there in your lesson plan, on the questions that you plan to ask, the questions that you do ask, are they difficult enough? Are you giving learners time to ponder those difficult questions before before they get a chance to discuss the answer, etc., etc. In terms of targets, we knew they were going to be asking learners what their targets were, what they're working towards, and they have done that. They're interested in okay, so what would you as a teacher expect them to have learned in this first half term? What do the learners expect to where do the learners expect to be by Christmas? So they're asking those sorts of questions. At the start of a session, when you're talking about what you're going to cover, we've said this before in a previous video about how we hook people in. So you can say, right, this topic or this task, it could be at the start of a session or the start of a task. This is really going to help you, George, because we know you want to do this. This is going to help. This is really going to be relevant for you because you're going to go on to uni, and this is going to help you with that, etc., etc. We could ask. I've seen it where some people at the start of a session go through what they're going to cover, and then they say to people, right, okay, I want you to think about which bit is going to be most difficult for you, and then they work. They're focused on what they want to most get out of the session, or what's going to be most useful or most challenging for them. All those hots and lots posters in your rooms, they're a guide for you and a guide for the learners, and as to where they're operating, and you're operating in terms of describing, explaining, evaluating, etc., etc., or applying to different contexts. Again, that caveat is, do not do anything that you haven't done before. Be confident, etc., etc. Just looking through my notes here. The other big thing is they want, as we've always said, we've talked about doing activities, all those Jeff Petty evidence-based activities where the learners are active and busy, and it frees up the teacher to wander around the class and to support the people who are struggling, or to push the people who are finding it easier through extra questions, etc., etc. And I would really encourage you to remember the move that we've made over the last 5 years in terms of it's less about the teacher and it's about the learners. Don't let nerves get the better. You think you have to be teaching and you have to be speaking. Be confident, be relaxed, do what you do when the rest of us come and see you, and you will do well, and you will get, as I said in that first vid, you will get the praise that you deserve. I hope that's useful. I know you're really busy. If it's been useful for one person, then I'm happy with that. Examples of marked work. Definitely start the lesson on time. Remember, the lesson starts when the first person comes in the room. Have some, be in there and ready. Something for them to do on the board. Something to look at. Even a job done. Good luck, and I'll see you on the other side.